Did you, TJ, did you mean to have the
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It is time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarych. We got a very exciting show ahead of us today. We are talking about The Running Man, new movie from Edgar Wright, starring Glen Powell, Coleman Domingo, and a really wonderful cast. And it's also fun because I get to chat with my friends about some things that I like to chat about, and then I get to surprise them with a draft at the end of the show that they know absolutely nothing about what is coming. So we got some very exciting stuff on the horizon. No trusty co-host with me today, so instead I had to pull one of my old co-hosts from our Severance podcast right out of retirement, because anytime we're talking about something Glen Powell, we got to bring in this wonderful guest. And so for the first time, I get to introduce her on the show as the editor-in-chief of the Mary Sue. Welcome, Rachel Leishman. How are you?
I'm doing great. That announcement made it clear that you guys didn't talk about Chad Powers because I wasn't on for Chad Powers.
I reviewed it and I talked about it on like our Whatcha Watching segment, but we didn't have a podcast for it. And one of the reasons was because I loved it so much, and then it pissed me off so much that it just ended so abruptly. And I was like, I need 6 more episodes of that in the season. What do you mean I'm going to have to wait years before another season of that
comes out? Season 2, we'll have a podcast that I will co-host with you about the Hulu series Chad Powers.
Deal. I'm in. And joining us as well today, we got another friend of the show from thedirect.com, co-host of the Controller Club podcast, Reckless Rebellion podcast. We have the wonderful Klein. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Happy Mario Galaxy movie trailer week. That's what we're here talking about, right? Brie Larson's Rosalina, Benny Safdie, Bowser Jr. This is it. Like, we are living in the best timeline right now.
I am torn on that casting because I love Brie Larson. I adore Brie Larson. I fucking hate Rosalina, Klein. I hate her.
I'm only torn on it simply because what does this mean for a Metroid movie? Because that is like that's the role Brie Larson was born to play. I don't know if we can do both. I hope we can, because I would absolutely love that.
Rachel, what's up?
Unless I missed it, where is my guy who I love to play whenever I play Mario Party? Like, is Wario around?
He's gotta be. I mean, he's gotta be. There's all sorts of you can read as much or as little into all these rumors and reports of the Mario movies.
Sorry, I was also incorrect. Not Wario. Wario is an enemy. I meant Waluigi.
Yeah, Waluigi's my guy.
Waluigi's who I play, even though I'm 5'2". So in theory, I would be Wario, but Waluigi is my dude.
Then there's 6'5" Klein, just built just like
Waluigi. I draw Waluigi comparisons all the time. When we were down in PAX a couple of weeks ago and we were asking people there for social content, it was like, hey, who should I cosplay as? The amount of people that were like Waluigi, it was shocking.
Well, I'll be Wario and you be Waluigi.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Well, that would be some fun stuff. But while we're not here to talk about the Super Mario Galaxy movie right now, maybe we'll dive into that at some point in the future. We do have a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the future, so make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit the notification bell, subscribe here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice 5-star rating and review. Next week, we will have our recap of seasons 1 to 4 of Stranger Things, in addition to the Comic Corner like every week. And then we're going to have some fun, of course, Stranger Things content coming up, but then Wicked for Good, Wake Up Dead Man, and Knives Out story. Lots of good movies on the horizon we are going to be covering here on the podcast, all before the end of November. And then in December, we, of course, have Percy Jackson and the Olympians, followed by Wonder Man in January. Lots and lots of fun stuff coming. So make sure you subscribe and hit that like button here on this video. Help us grow our community. I do want to know, before we talk about The Running Man, I want to know what else you've been watching. I, of course, have been doing my Stranger Things binge, but I'm done. I finished it. 2 hours before this podcast, I had a football show right before this and right before that, I just finished my rewatch of season 4 of Stranger Things. God, that's such a good show. Such a good show. I can't wait to talk about it next week and beyond for this final season. Rachel, how about you? What you been watching?
I also started a Stranger Things rewatch. Friday, I'm rewatching Friday Night Lights. I am. What else have I been watching? I watched that horrible Ed Gein show, which was very funny to watch when you were watching Chad Powers at the same time because the voices like mentally just like destroyed me. I couldn't listen to Charlie Hunnam's Ed Gein voice and Glen Powell's Chad Powers. Glen Powell's Chad Powers. God damn it, that's a hard sentence to say. Voice. It just I couldn't do it. I said enough. And I guess that's all. I've been watching a lot of movies. A lot of movies.
Klein, how about you? And I'll extend it into as well as a host of a video game podcast. What you been playing?
Well, funnily enough, we were talking about Mario Galaxy. I'm playing Mario Galaxy 2 right now for the very first time. Mario Galaxy 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. Never played 2, came to the Switch, been doing that. Been watching a lot. 2025 has been the year that I discovered TV. I've notably been like I'd rather watch a movie sort of thing, but I am watching so much television right now. Pluribus is amazing. Apple TV
So good.
Plus, loving it. I've only seen the first 2 episodes so far. I think that pilot is one of the best pilots I've ever seen. Vince Gilligan going back to his sci-fi roots. I'm watching Industry right now, getting ready for season 4 next year. That's an all-timer. That show rules. I absolutely adore it. And I don't know if this is going to resonate with anyone in the podcast, but we're coming here in the house. We've been watching a show for like the last few months, and I'm loving it. I'm adoring it. The OC.
Yeah.
I had never seen
yeah.
the OC before. This honestly might be a Mount Rushmore show for me. Like, it is so it goes so many bizarre and weird places, and like it jumps the shark like 35 times. But right now we're in season 4, and I love these characters so much. I'm a huge I have a background in radio broadcasting. I'm a huge music guy. This show's music is just some of the best that's ever been on TV. I love these characters so much. I love the writing so much. I'm going to be really upset when it's over. I actually kind of want to go back and start it again because especially that first season is just so much fun. And like, if you haven't given it a try, it is like the teen drama. Like, it is the quintessential teen drama. It's funny that Rachel, you brought up Friday Night Lights because I've also been like, I haven't done that before. And I'm like, do I?
That was my COVID.
I feel like it'd be a nice thing to fill the OC void in my heart when this ends.
Yeah, that was my COVID show with my mom. I was stuck at my mom's during COVID. Like we had been on a vacation, and so then I just was like with her during the whole COVID thing. And I was literally about to drive to New York, like in the middle of that summer, and then she started Friday Night Lights, and I was like, well, now I have to finish this. So I like stayed longer at my mom's so we could finish Friday Night Lights.
Wonderful, wonderful TV show outside of some portions of season 2 when the last writer's strike happened. But other than that, wonderful, wonderful TV show. The OC and One Tree Hill both hold very special places in my heart.
I've also thought about One Tree Hill. Like, I just don't think anything's ever going to like hit me this hard again. Like, I think that the OC is considered maybe the best of the bunch. And like, I really...
One Tree Hill and OC are 1A and 1B for me. They're very, very similar shows, especially with how heavily they emphasize music. I would say One Tree Hill puts much more emphasis on music than even the OC does.
I just think Ben McKenzie's character, I just think Ryan as a character is like, I just love him. I want the best for him. I think Peter Gallagher's Sandy Cohen is like the best TV dad of all time. The entire cast is just so good. Misha Barton has her moments, and I understand that like she was going through a whole lot of stuff during that whole thing, but like it is, you get the what you say, you get the amazing theme song.
I was hoping you got to the what you say.
Oh my god,
it's so funny. I remember so just laughing my ass off.
SNL clip, you understand?
Well, and I grew up in like an SNL house. Like, my dad has watched every episode. I think he's maybe started to trail off in the last few years, but for a long time had watched every episode of SNL since it had started as it aired. And so growing up, like, that was like a huge part of my life. And so I knew the Lonely Island sketch before I knew the OC thing. And so we finally got to it. It's like, oh my God, like this is like spot on perfect.
I definitely recommend One Tree Hill when you're done. Incredibly
Chad
similar
Michael Murray,
vibes.
right?
What?
Chad Michael Murray?
Yeah,
Yeah,
incredibly
okay.
similar vibes, but with basketball.
Oh boy.
It's all basketball music focused with just a whole bunch of ridiculous drama. Those two shows were like my having older sisters shows. Like they were watching them, and then I'd want to hang out with them because they were cool, and so I'd watch it with them, and
You're
I
like, what's
just
this
love.
Seth Cohen guy up to? He's a
Yeah,
nerd.
like
He's
Seth
cool.
was my king, right? Like Seth was my king. That's who you grow up wanting to
That's
be.
a bit of a jerk. I'm gonna be real. Like I understand that people love him, but like he's definitely like looking back with the 2025 lens, definitely a little problematic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But just like one of those, like you grow up like, wait, I like nerdy stuff. He's got this beautiful girlfriend, he's cool, and he's a nerd. That's the dream when you're a little kid, right? Like that's it. He's who you want to that lifestyle is what you want to aspire to. But yeah, great show. Tons of fun. I do want to ask. Actually, no, I want to get spoiler-free reactions to The Running Man before this next thing. I forgot the order of my rundown, but this could be fun because I know the two of you have very different thoughts on this movie, and I kind of feel like I am somewhere right in the middle. And so I'm looking forward to chatting about this with you guys. Rachel, I will throw it to you first. Give me your spoiler-free thoughts on The Running Man.
So this is a movie, and I said this to Glen Powell's face. This is a movie about arms, and I stand by that because the way that Edgar Wright shoots like the strength of men in this movie, insane. Like I don't understand why he did it this way, and I'm not mad about it. But yeah, I liked it. I read the book, and so having an actual like faithful adaptation of that book is really nice. Yes, there are some changes, ones that I actually agree with, because reading that book, I didn't think that man liked his wife in any way, shape, or form. So it is nice to think that he does like his wife and his daughter. And yeah, I liked this. I loved this. This was my most anticipated movie. It felt like I was back watching like an action movie from when I was a kid again, and it wasn't 20 other things. It was just like an action movie that happened to also be like dystopian, but for the most part, it's just an action movie. And I really liked that because I don't like the Arnold movie. To be fair, I liked the Arnold movie fine. I read the book, watched the Arnold movie again, and was like, actually, I hate this. So I loved it a lot because it gave me an actual adaptation.
Klein, how about you? Give me your thoughts.
I don't want to bring the mood of the podcast down at all. Like I'm really happy for you, Rachel, but like here's where I'm coming from with this movie. I love Edgar Wright. I think Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors of all time. Scott Pilgrim's one of my favorite movies ever. I love Shaun of the Dead. And you know who else I love? I love Glen Powell. Like I adore Glen Powell. I think that he is giving us something that we haven't had from like an American leading man in a very long time, in that he is sexy as hell. He can act his ass off, and he's a bit of a doof, and he owns it. And I love that. And so coming into this film, this was also my most anticipated movie of 2025, simply because it was two people that I love, two creative forces that I was really excited to see what could happen on screen when we get the directing and editing and energy of something like Baby Driver or something like Scott Pilgrim, with the charisma and charm of a leading man like Glen Powell, and like mix that Hitman energy in there and throw some of Top Gun Maverick. And what I ended up coming out of the movie feeling was like, I felt like The Running Man didn't give me really any of that. I feel like it surprised and shocked me how little life I felt this movie had, and how little energy. There are moments for sure. I think that there are scenes that we'll talk about that I'm like, this is the Edgar Wright that I wanted. This is the Glen Powell that I wanted. And maybe that's on me for like coming into this expecting something that I ultimately didn't get. But I just felt that this, from everyone involved, felt like a sanitized diet, low calorie version of what we could have gotten. And that really bums me out.
I think that was a incredibly brilliant job of buttering Rachel up with the Glen Powell talk before saying you don't like the movie, because that was the way you immediately keep
some moments in this film where I was there, I was ready, I was drooling, but like it, yeah, I think that ultimately the script itself is, and the way that this movie looks and is edited together, it doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright film. The writing, it doesn't feel it feels like a lesser than thing. Like it feels like something that they were forced to do and something that they wanted instead of something that they wanted to do, and that didn't like that at all. Yeah.
I just want to ask, have you read the book?
I haven't read the book, but I know how it goes. Like
well, no, I'm working on a theory in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Because and also, where do you live?
I'm Canadian.
Okay. Well, because here's the thing. For some reason, the West Coast and the East Coast are like weirdly divided about this movie.
So he's West Coast.
I'm West Coast.
West Coast fucking hated it in the US. But then the East Coast was like, yeah, this is good. I had fun. So it's like weirdly separated and I don't understand it. And I'm like,
here I am.
I will say, like, with all that said, I had fun. I came out having fun. I just didn't think it was like I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. Like I was waiting to be genuinely thrilled, and I never got that.
Okay, that's very like this movie is. I will get into it, but it was like it is what that book is to me, and so I loved it because I loved that book. So I was like, good job, you did it.
If either of you were to fly to visit to each other, being your plane when it would be over top of me would be like right
directly in the middle.
And that's why you're in the middle of the
and that's why I'm in the middle on this podcast as well, because I really enjoyed it. I was a little disappointed by the end. I was expecting like a little bit more of a like intricately weaved together conclusion. Like the best thing I could compare it to is I was expecting when we got that. Actually, no, I'll hold off that opinion until we get into spoilers. But I thought this was like I was on the literal edge of my seat. Like the amount of times I was leaning back in the recliner that went, okay, damn, and just like leaned forward and sat up was so frequent in this movie. I thought it was a ton of fun that fizzled out for me a little bit towards the end. I thought they probably could have cut about 15 minutes out of the second act of this movie, and it maybe would have been a little bit better served. But overall, I thought it was a fun time. We'll get to our ratings at the end, but it wasn't like one of my top movies of the year. Wasn't one of my worst movies of the year. Something that I had a fair amount of fun with. One of the, as we kind of not quite get into spoilers here, but just, talk about what this movie is about. I thought it was such an interesting premise of I didn't know how he was going to end up joining the Running Man game show. Like I hadn't read the book. I hadn't seen the original. I didn't know anything. I went in totally blind as to how he would get to that point. And one of the most interesting parts of that to me, of just like putting myself in those shoes, were when the aspects of there are all these different game shows and I want to be on one of them. And just like, I thought it was so interesting how you don't know which game show you're going to be on. You're kind of just showing up and then they put you somewhere. It made me want to know, if you could choose to be on a game show, what's the one that you're stepping into? Like for enjoyment, money, everything combined. It could be a reality TV show as long as there's a prize and it's on TV. What are you showing up for to be like, I think I can win this prize? Rachel, I'll throw to you first.
Hollywood game night, but not with Martin Short. He's not allowed on my episode. He's not allowed on my team because Martin Short doesn't take that game fucking seriously. Sorry to swear, but I have like strong opinions because I would win that game. My brother and I have like talked about it at length that the two of us could go on that show and just like make bank. And if it was a life or death situation, I would like keep everyone alive because I would not miss a goddamn question. It is, I don't know if they have it in Canada, but Jane Lynch used to host this show called Hollywood Game Night, and it would be two regular people and then a bunch of celebrities would be on your team. And you would have to like get the celebrities to help you guess clues. Well, the comedians would think it'd be a funny time to just like crack jokes. And I'd be like, lock the fuck in. We're answering these questions and I'm getting money. This isn't a joke to me. I'm winning Hollywood Game Night. And so that is the one game, that and like maybe Pop Culture Jeopardy. But because it's like three people, I'm like, I would end up fighting, like much like Martin Short, I would need full control over who I'm bringing on. Because if I bring on somebody and they fuck up a question that I know the answer to, I'm going to be pissed. So anything to do with like knowledge about pop culture or movies or actors, I would just like own it. So it's one of those two. And I would do it for whatever. Money, life or death.
You'd definitely be somebody that I would be the life or death, no problem.
Rachel's putting her life on the line for Hollywood Game Night.
I would win that game. Jane Lynch, if you were watching, when DJ clips this for me, if you're watching, let me be on Hollywood Game Night. I have a team already. Like Adam Scott's on there because that man knows so much information about movies and television.
And you named your cat after him.
I need my cat after him, so it'd be fun. I'll bring Benji, Benjamin, topical to the Running Man. But like, let me on Hollywood Game Night. I can win. You can shoot me after. Just let me win Hollywood Game Night for the title.
Klein, life or death, or just to win a little sum of money? What game show are you choosing to go on?
Well, when I saw this question when you sent the random, the first thing I thought of was, remember Wipeout? I don't think I'd actually be good at that game, but I want to try. I don't have some like I don't have this well thought out answer here, but I'm gonna say Price is Right because I want to spin the big wheel. I love the idea of spinning a big novelty wheel. I also think I'd be okay at that game. Like I'm an indecisive buyer. I'm very good at just like looking for something for years and years and years and never actually pulling the trigger on it. So I feel like I'd be able to be like, yeah, that like camper van is more expensive than the trip to Venice or whatever. So yeah, Price is Right. Shout out kids sick at home watching that for hours and hours on end.
Ben Wyatt.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a Parks and Rec.
Another Parks and Rec callback. I will say, if I were doing some type of pop culture trivia related thing, Rachel, you'd be one of the very first person, if not the very first person I'd put on my team. Okay. My wife Ava and I, we watch Pop Culture Jeopardy or just like clips of it together often. And together we nail like everything. On my own, I have flaws. When we're a pair, we really cancel out each other's flaws very well. On my own, I definitely would struggle with it. Klein, it's not quite Wipeout, but when I was in Thailand, when I was in my 20s, and still like in the midst of my like gym bro phase,
I have no idea where the story is gonna go, and I am fascinated.
I was like in my gym bro phase, right? In my body type, like I'm short, I'm compact. Not that short, but I'm very like compact of a person, right? So I was all bulky. And in Thailand, we go and we found one of the places where they actually have like oh my gosh, what's it called? Not Wipeout, not the silly one, MXC, Most Extreme Challenge. American Ninja Warrior.
Shout out MXC. I want to go on that.
MXC was so silly. That was another one of those watch after school or when you're homesick. American Ninja Warrior. They had an American Ninja Warrior course, but in Thailand, and we went and did it. And it was basically just like this big jungle gym that you were allowed to go run around on and try all of the things for like $20 or whatever it was. I was so bad. I was so horrible. And on all these things I thought I would have been good at. And every single one, the guy who was with us, who was like 6'3" and really lanky, incredible at all of them. And so it's kind of funny that Wipeout, very similar to like the American Ninja Warrior stuff in terms of what the competitions are. And I would choose both of you to be on my teams for the things you selected, because with your body type, Klein, I think you could crush. I tried it. I couldn't reach any of the things. Like, it's so hard to get from point A to point B.
Wipeout, you don't need like much physical ability. You're just running across the big red balls, and that's kind of it.
You have to run on slippery shit. That's all you have to kind of do.
We did like try to run across the big red balls, and that was the worst part of it. Is we were trying all of these things, but the water looked so dirty and gross. Like, it wasn't overly well maintained. So when we were falling into this shit, it wasn't great. But there was so many of them that it's like you run against the big red balls, and then you got to like jump and like catch something. You got to like get to a ledge. I'm always missing the ledge, Klein, and I feel like you'd get there. You'd get there. So you're joining my team for that as well. For me, I'm going Don't Forget the Lyrics. That has always been one that I've wanted to be on. Wayne Brady, the music, I know the lyrics to all songs. That is something that I can memorize really, really easily and quickly. Every song that's ever been made, I know the lyrics for it. And so No hyperbole there. And so that is
No one
definitely the one
tested.
I would
Just
want to go on.
believe that that is true of TJ. No one tested.
Don't test it. Don't question it. Just
This
take
is
that
the
as
internet. You
fact.
can say whatever you want, and it's true.
I will say
Exactly.
this. You know what? You know what I would nail, and I would choose my brother, who TJ, you know Patrick, as does now Lee Pace, Edgar Wright, and Glen Powell because of New York Comic Con. But my brother Patrick and I, if they had like a heads up game, we would nail it because him and I just look at each other and we'll say like one word if it's like blockbuster, and then the other one knows what it is. And it's like the rest of my family is screaming way too much information, and we just like lock in with each other and we're like, this thing. And it's like, okay, just like, keep going. So if that was a game show, I feel like I would also nail
I have a
heads up.
friend. I have a friend who we just watched so many of the same movies together growing up, of just like Will Ferrell comedies in our teens and things like that. And we have a very similar like game relationship to that, as we'll be playing with something and I'll be like, the water. And he'll go, oh, cucumber, because I said it in the same way that they do in the other guys when they offer them a water, and he's like, the cucumber accents the water in such a way. And it's just like we're locked in because of how often we quote movies to each other. But I like it. We got Don't Forget the Lyrics, we have Wipeout, we have A Hollywood Game Night.
Life or Death Edition.
Get us on your shows, bring us into the audition room, let's get us on there. Let's talk about The Running Man in spoilers, in detail. I hadn't seen the original. I had not read the book. So Rachel, that is kind of what I wanted to throw it to you for first, of what are these biggest changes that we get from all these adaptations?
Okay, so the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is literally nothing like the book. It's basically they heard the idea of a man being hunted and said, got it. And then that was like it. And so the Richard Dawson character, which is he's Bobby T, but also Dan Killian at the same time. Like he is the mega producer and the host of The Running Man. So he's kind of like what Dan ends up being by the end, but like that's what his character is throughout it. Gets a bunch of criminals and throws them into like basically like a American Ninja Warrior arena. Like that is what it is. And they have to run around this arena and survive. And it's crazy. There's like WWE stars. Fucking Mick Fleetwood is in this movie at one point, and it's just like the most random shit. And it's like the only thing that is the same as his name is Ben Richards. If I remember correctly, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have a kid, he has none of that shit. It is basically like survive running in a circle and be the last person alive.
Am I the only one that hears the name Ben Richards and thinks of some kind of Spider-Man variant character?
Yes. I mean, no, you're not the only one that thinks that. I also think that. So that's the biggest difference between the Arnold movie and both the book and the new movie. It took his name and the concept and the idea of like a game show host and producer and said, well, we got an idea. But so Ben was like a criminal. He didn't really do anything. They just like arrest him and throw him into this game. He doesn't go in with his own free will or any of that. But so with the new movie, the biggest differences are I thought he actually liked his wife.
I love his wife.
I love
Shout out to Jamie Lawson from Sinners, incredible in that. Was really good in this too for the brief amount of times that we did get to see her. And if they go young for Storm when they are casting in the MCU, that is my choice.
Well, and so she actually has more time in this than she does in the book. The book is basically just like you're with Ben Richards the entire goddamn time, which is what this movie is, but at least there's a little bit more of Sheila. The ending is completely different.
How different is the ending? Because from what I know about the book, does he doesn't leave the plane, right? Like he smashes the plane into the tower
plane
and kills
into
everyone.
the building and kills everybody, and it sparks a revolution. And it's like I just read it the other day. My book's not in here; it's in the other room. They were talking about how the ending of that thing is like as the ashes fell, people were chanting for Ben or something like that. It's like all about how like that was like the rallying cry of the revolution instead of what the movie does, which is Ben Richards. The question of whether or not Ben Richards is alive is what fuels them, and then Ben Richards is alive and gets his happy ending. Personally, I like that, because how sad the ending of that book is. I'm like, yeah, sure, he caused a revolution, but also his wife and daughter got murdered by this network and all this shit. I think it's worse that the network lied to him and was willing to let this man kill innocent people for seasons upon seasons, and they were letting that lie fuel it. Like, I like the change. Some people don't. I enjoy it.
They're not going to release a Glen Powell romp in theaters and have him like committed terrorism and then the movie end, right? Like it's not. Paramount's not going to let that fly.
Yeah, and also we wouldn't have had Glen Powell in a hot all black sweatshirt look with like a black thing over his face. I was like, let's go, mask up, king. But yeah, so those are the biggest change. There are changes throughout it, but those are, and like you don't really interact with the other runners. From what I remember from reading that book, he's like not really like watching the show and checking in on other people running. That is all kind of new. But a lot of what is in this book is in this movie is in the book.
The ending was one of the parts I didn't love, and I didn't know that it was a change, but it just kind of felt like it either needed to me be go the original way of, sparking the revolution with a good ending for society, but a bad ending with his own personal life, and not to get us, too upset about the lack of Hunt for Ben Solo in our lives, but I thought the ending could have used a little bit of Steven Soderbergh. I was kind of waiting for that YouTube video at the end when they were like explaining shit. I found it a little underwhelming, and I was kind of expecting our Ocean's 11 moment where it was like, this is what you think happened, this is what actually happened, and like a cool set to some music and give us like a breakdown of what actually went down. It just felt a little bit, I don't know, it just was a little underwhelming. Not bad, just I was whelmed. I was just simply whelmed. Shout out to my guy Dick Grayson. Klein, what were some of the things that, as a big Edgar Wright fan, you were hoping to see in this movie you didn't?
Well, one of the things is kind of what you brought up there. Something that I think Edgar Wright does so well is the way he chops his movie up in the editing bay, and the way that he like looking back at something like Baby Driver, where it is like that's another.
Can you say its true name? BABY Baby Driver.
BABY Baby Driver. The way that movie, like, and I see a lot of similarities between these two films in like from a conceptual point of view, and why someone like Edgar Wright would want to take on a project like this. It's like, hey, like I'm going to put my stamp on an action movie. The thing that he does super well is he ingests every zombie movie ever made, and then it's like, I'm going to make the best one of those and have kind of this like poking fun lens on it in Shaun of the Dead, and then does a very similar thing with Baby Driver. And I thought we were going to get that here. He's like, I have seen every 80s action movie. Let's make this like really, really cool, subversive, different feeling action film. And one of the best things he does is like those amazing montages set to music, action scene with hitting beats and that sort of thing. And so I was honestly hoping for more of that. And I think we're spoilers here, right?
Yes. Yeah, I just spoiled the whole ending of the movie.
Yeah. We get like a taste of it with the Michael Cera sequence in the house and that sort of thing.
God,
like,
I love that. I loved Michael Cera.
That's the best scene in the movie. It's that, or the his escape from the apartment building and just the towel, because both of those are very Edgar Wright scenes, and I wanted more of it, and I don't think we got enough. I could have used like 2 or 3 more sequences just like that.
I thought in the second act, where I mentioned it could have been maybe for me about 15 minutes shorter, I thought it could have used almost like wow, am I brain farting and I can't remember the word, where you combine things, a montage of...
He's the montage king, dude. Edgar Wright is like, he's so good at doing like using these like clever cuts and edits to make a scene like really feel like it has momentum. And when you do need to do like a bunch of exposition or slow things down, there's just a bunch of like, he employs these techniques that make things really, really feel like they're ramping up, and you're getting a lot of info, but you're sitting there so engaged because the way that the movie is cut and shot and put together moves it along at a pace.
That's one thing I thought I was missing was instead of the second act felt a bit dragged out for me. Give us like day 12 to 17 through a montage of just like him escaping in a different way each time, doing crazy shit, being silly Glen Powell in that tiny ass little towel, the smallest towel you've ever seen in your life. In my Stranger Things rewatch, I'm seeing Hopper
lowest
and Glen
side
Powell.
towel I've ever seen on a human being. Okay, like there's like so much Glen Powell pelvis hanging out with this towel.
Does it look like I'm complaining?
No, I'm not. I'm not complaining either.
I'm seeing these through lines in these projects I'm watching recently. I watch Frankenstein and Oscar Isaac's running around naked. I'm watching Running Man and Glen Powell's running around this tiny little towel. I watched Stranger Things and Jim Hopper is sitting there in this tiny little towel air drying.
I was just paused because I was like, now where is this connecting to Stranger Things?
Jim Hopper in his tiny
Jim
little
Hopper is
towel.
always just shirtless on that show.
Yeah. What do we think of Glen Powell's performance and as Ben Richards? And we've kind of touched on this a lot throughout the show, and tease this may have something to do with the draft we're doing later. What do we think about Glen Powell movie star? Not Glen Powell actor. That's, kind of one of the facets, but maybe less so now. But a couple years ago, I feel like it was such a common conversation of the death of the movie star. It's today's world is based on IP, and the IP, the character, is what sells the project, where it used to be the movie star that sold the project. I kind of feel like we're entering the return of the movie star a little bit recently, at least the beginning of that phase. Rach, what did you think of his? I think that might be the first time I've called you Rach in my life.
Most people do. It's fine.
What do you think of his performance as Ben Richards? And how would you? Obviously, you may be biased. You're a pretty big Glen Powell fan. But where would you rank him among today's leading men and women, people in general? Where would you put him amongst the current movie stars?
Oh, I think he is one of the people that when I talk about the like movie stars still existing, he is one of them. I think we've lost the ability as a society to talk about movie stars, because when someone is the level of a movie star, people then are like, oh, they're everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. There were movies in like the 80s and 90s where like Harrison Ford and like Kurt Russell and Keanu Reeves and all these dudes had multiple movies out in one year. And we all were just excited to go see the new whatever movie it was. Tom Cruise was that way. Like there were so many people that had like X amount of movies come out, and they were Arnold Schwarzenegger. I looked at this whole thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger would have like Junior and like fucking Terminator 2 out within the same year. And you would have these widely different genres coming out from the same actor. And it was very fun to see that range. And like the actors who continue to try and do that in the 21st century get labeled as like, oh, there's too much of that guy. And it's like, well, no, that's just a movie star. You just don't like that movie star, and you've lost the ability to decide you don't like a movie star and pivot to watching something else instead. That's my soapbox about the movie star debate. But I do think that Glen Powell is among them, because if you look at the run last year, he had a rom-com, he had a weird indie comedy thing, action movie, whatever you want to label Hitman as, and then he had Twisters. So he had like 3 very different movies all coming out, and they all hit on different genres, and I loved it. Same thing with this year. He went from Chad Powers to an action movie like The Running Man, and he's also making that J.J. Abrams movie too. So like
fantasy movie, apparently.
It's a what?
A fantasy movie. We're gonna get like knight in shining armor Glen Powell probably, which is very exciting.
Myself. He's also on a bike. Who is he? Me? But yeah, I consider him one of the few movie stars we do have left, because he's doing what like Pedro Pascal is doing, and like there are people who are attempting to still do the movie star thing, and I think we as a collective need to learn how to just talk about them differently, or go back to how we used to talk about movie stars. To the Ben Richards of it all, I think he did a really good job. There were moments where I was like, are you really that angry? And the more I watch this movie, the more I do see like the layers that he's adding to this anger that Ben Richards has. And it is one that I had to watch the movie more than once to kind of see it. But I think he's doing a really good job, because it made me care about Ben Richards in a way that reading the book never did. Because I only cared about that character after one specific chapter. then I cared about him the rest of the book, where within this movie, I cared about him almost kind of instantly. And so props. While you guys do this, I will put on my other movie star Glen Powell glasses because I found my Top Gun Maverick aviators sitting on this desk. So I'll just look like this.
It is kind of embarrassing how long it took me to watch Top Gun Maverick for the first time. I watched it the first time this year, and by this year I mean this summer. Like, it was
How did you
very,
watch
very
it? Did you
recent.
watch it as intended on the back of a plane screen?
I
on your
watched it
iPad
like it
Nano?
wasn't on a big screen, but it was on my 70-inch screen, so it was close.
Okay.
It was close. It was
No,
pretty big.
it's not. I saw that movie in 40X. You can never experience the magic.
Rachel experienced all 7 Gs of
like,
Top Gun.
Yeah, going up there, Rachel's like, ah!
Tom Cruise is going at the 10G. I was like, oh, we're dying in here. Actually, like this is when I die.
I was so late to that movie, and the biggest reason just because I didn't really care for the first one. Top Gun does nothing for me. I kind of just thought it was meh.
But volleyball in jeans.
Yeah.
Come on.
Top Gun Maverick is fucking incredible.
You're
and
too
he's fucking
straight.
incredible in
You're
that
too
movie.
straight for me. And as the town straight, that's too straight a take for me. I know it's the opposite side of a coin, but that's too straight that you got nothing from Top Gun. Sorry, Val Kilmer is so hot in that movie. Get out of here.
It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. And that's okay. I'm not saying it's bad. It just wasn't for me. Top Gun 2 is fucking incredible.
You
Top
get
Gun
money
Maverick's fucking
here,
incredible.
Danger
It's incredible.
Zone 80, 100 times in one movie.
The electric guitar. Tom Cruise on a motorcycle. Come on.
Arguably Tom Cruise at his hottest as well. Goose. TJ.
But Glen Powell in Top Gun Maverick is, yeah, he is. That's the bee's knees right there. That's a really, really incredible movie. Anyways, Klein, what do you think of his performance in this movie? And where, not, you don't have to give me a spot, but like what's the tier you would put him in terms of today's movie stars?
Oh, I'll start with the tier question. I think that I don't know if he's quite yet. I think he just needs a little bit more of a resume. I don't think he's quite yet in that top S tier, but he's right there. Like, he is studying the finishing school of badassery taught by Tom Cruise each and every day. Like, he, to me, is the closest thing. We've been kind of looking as a society for an American name to latch our like movie going experience onto for a long time. And I think Glen Powell is going to be it. And I think the thing that excites me most about him isn't the fact that, like, I think when he gets the Tom Cruise comparisons, people see Ethan Hunt and they see like that era of Tom Cruise. I think what excites me most about Glen Powell is that it isn't just that. Like, he is going to go and do Anyone But You. He is going to go and like write a movie and star in it in Hitman. Like, and that's like a very weird different thing. And then with this, it's like, yeah, it's another action film, but like, he wants to go and work with another auteur. Like, he wants to go and work with Edgar Wright. He's doing these really cool things. And I think the quote, you probably have it handy or tattooed on your body somewhere, Rachel. I think the quote he said is that like, he is making the kinds of movies that he wants to see.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that could mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but I genuinely believe that he loves movies and loves all sorts of different movies. And that's exciting. Like, I don't want to see Glen Powell do the same Glen Powell thing in every movie, but we're getting different like flavors of it with each project. And that like really excites me. And he's just so goddamn charming. Like, I look at that face and you're like, man, you could be a douchebag. You could be like the jerkiest jerk ever. But then he just there's these little cracks in that persona where it's just like, oh no, you're just a goofball, and you're a really pretty goofball, but you're a goofball. And I love that. And so like, he to me is like the highlight of this film. He is why I had fun with this movie. Had this been in lesser hands, I would have been like visually upset on the podcast here. And he just, that charisma continues to just like pour out of him, even when the script isn't like giving him all that I want, or the movie is lacking in a few other areas. Like, he's so close to getting to that S tier, and I'm fascinated to see what he does next. Because like, is there ever like an Academy Award Glen Powell movie? I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him.
It was Hitman, and they
that
didn't.
That movie is a 5 out of 5 masterpiece. I love Linklater. I love Glen Powell. All pie is good pie.
All pie's good pie. I will say, if you break down, okay, here's how we should break down movie stars. And I am right in what I'm about to say. And if people want to fight me, they can. I'm correct. I think we could break them down based on the movie star that they're emulating in a way, and everyone wants to put Tom Cruise on Glen Powell, and that is incorrect. He is more like Harrison Ford.
That's the
Because
name. That's
Chris
the name that I
Pine-
keep coming back to.
Chris Pine, him, like basically any actor I've ever been obsessed with has Harrison Ford energy, I've come to realize. And it's because Harrison Ford is a weird dude. And it's like you see it in like Working Girl and stuff like that, where he gets to have fun and be weird. And like now people are seeing it with Shrinking, that Harrison Ford is funny. And now it's just that these younger actors have the chance of being action stars as well as like weird dudes. And so it's like, I think that like your Chris Pines, your Glen Powells, even Pedro to a large degree are all in the Harrison Ford movie star category of like, we're going to do whatever we want. We're going to have a shit ton of fun and people are going to like watching our movies. Doesn't mean we're getting awards, doesn't mean we're getting accolades, but we're going to do what we want. Like Harrison Ford has one Oscar nomination, and I believe it's for Witness, a movie that is pretty good, but like not Harrison Ford's best movie by any stretch of the imagination. But like that's the world that they lived in back then. Like that was the only time you would award him something. And I think, you know, all of these guys they give me Harrison Ford energy.
I would say though that Glenn is like, of those people that you named, is leaning into the Tom Cruise like there's a little more Tom Cruise DNA in him. Like I don't,
The
as you said, Harrison
DNA
Ford has
is
one
Harrison Ford. The school he is going to is Tom Cruise.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
He
Like
is the marriage between the two. He's like if they had a son.
Yeah.
Like if
Like
Tom
I
Cruise and
can't
Harrison Ford had a son, it'd be
see
so bad.
Harrison Ford ever doing like some of the weird stuff that Cruise did in like the early 2000s and stuff like that, or even something like Risky Business. I don't think that Harrison Ford does that movie, but I can see Glen Powell doing that movie.
I would love
But
Harrison Ford Risky Business. That'd be so fun.
Harrison Ford also did What Lies Beneath around the same time that Eyes Wide Shut was happening. So like they do have like, it's very weird because when you look at those filmographies, there are like comparison points, but everyone is like, these two, they're not really. Harrison Ford is just older than Tom Cruise, so he's not jumping out of planes anymore. He's crashing them. That is what he does with his free time. He's not, you know, doing the Harrison Ford what he did in the 80s when he was
He's
already
falling
in his
off
40s.
really, really long, skinny bridges.
Which Glen Powell does in this movie.
True.
Does he fall off?
He jumps.
Or does he swan dive gracefully?
He just flips around with a cloud of explosion.
Coleman Domingo, I thought gave my favorite performance in this movie.
So good.
He's just so interesting. Whenever he's on the screen, I want to be glued to it. Josh Brolin was like, I don't mean this in a negative way by any means, but he's Josh Brolin. Like it just kind of went out there and was just like skeevy Josh Brolin to me, and I thought it was good, but like nothing to write home about.
How did
my
we feel about the
favorite
veneers
character-
on Josh Brolin?
They're so bad. They're
There's keepers
so...
on that guy.
But there was an interview that happened where Glen Powell like saw him with the veneers, but it was the first time he had seen him and he didn't know that they were like for the movie. And so he was just like trying to be nice to him about him. And like thought he actually did that. And he was like, oh yeah, that's a good look. And then had to realize it was because that's for the movie.
My favorite character by far was Michael Cera. He was hilarious. I love Michael Cera as an actor and just everything he's in, and I thought he was hilarious here. Klein, who were some of your standouts?
Well, I think Coleman Domingo is another one of those people that in the last couple of years I've just been like magnetized to. Like every time he's on screen in anything, whether it be something like this where it's goofy and he is chewing up scenery and having fun, or something in like Sing Sing where he is like breaking my heart and making me sob in my living room. I think he is just like one of the most engaging people to watch on screen right now. So him, and then Michael Cera, like this character and this performance from Michael Cera is such an Edgar Wright and such an character and Edgar Wright performance. And it's like, that is when he is, for those few minutes on screen, that is when I was like, oh, this feels like an Edgar Wright movie finally. And maybe it's because I have that history with Michael Cera and Edgar Wright, but like there was just a level of goofiness that he brought into it. And I like that Michael Cera's back in our lives. You know, he was gone for so long and he's doing some fun things. Oh, also
Rachel,
shout out William H. Macy, because that brief little bit is a lot of fun too.
Rachel, how about you? Favorite character? Not named Glen Powell / Ben Richards.
The dog on the train who is unnamed. That is Glen Powell's dog. No, I'm just kidding. Probably Bobby T. I love what Coleman did. I mean, it's just Coleman. The minute they cast him, I was like, yeah, this is great. I also love Lee Pace. So I loved it would cut to him and he would have some leather on somewhere. And I'm like, why are you running around in leather? That's not comfortable at any point of your life, running around in leather. Like, it looks good, but why are you wearing it to chase people down? And I loved him for it. I also loved the little kid who's
Which
like
one?
the one that's like, you got to get off the streets, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked
Like,
him
you do it.
too.
Yeah.
It's like, you dumbass. Like, I'm saving your ass.
I thought you were
He's
talking
like,
about the kid on the train because I liked him too.
yeah, the kid on the train who's like, your mustache is straight up falling off. I also love what they did with
I'm gonna
Amelia.
fucking kill you, you stupid little rat.
And this
Don't
is
tell
like,
anybody. He's like, sir, your mustache.
bro. I would have been like, bro, your stash, chill. I also really loved Amelia because we already talked about Sheila. Loved Sheila, but I also liked Amelia because what the book, she like basically refuses to listen to words that Penn Richards says to her and is very kind of like in Stephen King's I Wrote This on Cocaine book. But I like what they did with her in the movie. Yeah, if you don't know, this is from the cocaine era of Stephen King, and you can tell when you're reading that book. You're
My
like,
only complaint with Amelia is that I felt like her character, and this would have required structurally changing up the way we do the book. I wish we had met her sooner because I'm fairly new to is Amelia Jones, right? I'm fairly new to her. I just watched Task for the first time, and that's the first time I ever saw her, and I was like, who is
have you not seen Coda?
I haven't seen Coda.
I love Coda.
I have Apple TV Plus right now, so it's everyone keeps telling me specifically because I'm just a huge softy that I would love Coda, but her in Task is like, I was like, who is this lady? I need to know everything there is to know about her. And when she comes on screen, it is quite jarring how quickly she is just like, oh, you're a main character now, and then the movie's wrapping up. So it's like, I wish we had either had more movie after we met her or like she was introduced earlier, because the turn that she has to make and like the buy-in that she has into the story very quickly is just like, as an audience member, I was kind of sitting there going like, oh, okay, like you are a co-lead right now with Glen Powell, and I had no idea who you were 7 minutes ago.
I agree with that, especially because I think not only was the performance interesting and very good, but I thought the character was
it's a fun character to
interesting
introduce into the story. Like that's an angle that I didn't think about heading into meeting her.
And it's such a, like, the person who thinks they're a good person because they don't do anything bad, but are constantly benefiting from a system that oppresses others, where it's not, I think that's such an interesting conversation to be had in character to view, because that to me is such a problem with society where white people, people like us, when they're sitting there and they go, this can't be true because that makes me bad. And they don't understand the nuance, right? If they are benefiting from oppression, that makes them bad, and therefore that oppression must not be happening. That's such an interesting thing, I think, to explore, because that's a concept that so many people can't wrap their head around, is even though you are not doing something specifically, that can still mean you're benefiting. Because you're benefiting, that does not make you bad. But it is a problem when you don't acknowledge it and when you don't do anything to help affect change and help others who are not benefiting from those things. And I think that aspect of the movie, there was more to say there. And so I'm with you. I think that would have been cool to get her introduced a little bit earlier. Rachel, give me some of your favorite parts and or issues with this movie that we haven't mentioned, and then let's wrap it up with a final score and get into draft mode. The draft's gonna be quick, by the way. It's not gonna take hours.
Okay, I got no issues. Perfect movie. 10 out of 10. No notes. Why did Edgar Wright linger on his little hip bone? I don't know, but I'm happy for it. Also, Hot Priest. Hot Priest 3.0.
Hot Irish Priest.
Hot Irish Priest. We keep doing this. Like, the Catholic part of my brain, the Catholic part of my brain can't handle this anymore. But I will say, my favorite parts are the priest. As I just said that, I loved that whole sequence when the guy's like, "Have you seen this?" And then the other guy's like, "You fucking idiot! Like he's blind. Why did you like?" Those little humor moments I think are funny. I love the Sarah part because there is a shot in that where I was like, "Oh, this is such an Edgar Wright shot." And it's when it's like focused on Glen Powell and then the back completely blurs out as it goes to the door. I was like, "That's such a Edgar Wright shot." I loved I love the apostle stuff. Like shout out to Daniel Ezra. I think that is so fun because he like looks like this big tough guy and then he's like, "Come look at what I've been doing." And he's like super nerdy into like unpacking the crimes of the network to the point where even Ben Richards is like, "And what does this have to do? Like how is this helping me?" Like you're just showing me a bunch of videos of other episodes of The Running Man. So I love that whole little sequence. And yeah, I like the plane. I think it's fun. I like that, like, you can see when the network is controlling it to get him the gun back and stuff. And I think it's just kind of cool how they did that whole little sequence. And the towel for shits and giggles.
Klein, any highlights we have yet to mention? Any qualms you had with this movie that you have yet to mention? And then give me your rating out of 10.
No, I mean, I think I've gone over just about everything that I loved. Like, I think the best scene in the movie is the Michael Cera adult Home Alone house. Like, it's just, I love a good, like, I'm not like a very violent person. I'll just put that out there, but I love seeing just like some people I hate just get absolutely just smashed to the ground. And there are some moments in this house where it's like when the handrail of the stairs knocks them and I'm like, oh, all those people's like bones are just so broken right now. And
did they get thrown into like like what was on the wall? Because it looked like they also got like stabbed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also shout out to the water gun. Just again, a very silly Edgar Wright thing.
The pump, him pumping the water gun. Yeah. I don't know. That just brought
he had it in his hand, and I'm like, oh,
life.
That's a water gun, right? But then I also think, oh, this is the future. Is it some cool like machine gun? Like, no, it's just a water gun. It's just a super soaker. And my biggest qualm is something that is like a secret delight of mine for Edgar Wright movies. Not enough smash cuts. Edgar Wright notably does these amazing cuts where it's like a drawer closes really hard and boom, the scene cuts. Or like we got a couple with like some trucks like moving along and then the scene kind of ending when the truck enters the frame and the next scene picking up as it leaves the frame. But like there are so many great Edgar Wright smash cuts throughout his filmography, and I don't think we really got enough of them here.
I will also shout out to going upstairs to just slide down a pole because that was so funny where he's like, "Why are we still upstairs?" And he goes, "Because of this." He was like, "I'm gonna kill you." And why didn't he go like directly down to the basement? Like I like that the pole in theory just went back down to the room they were already in instead of
they started with
instead of like going directly down into the thing they needed to go into. He was like, "No, this is fine. Let's just leave. We'll leave it where it is. Just go directly down into that room again with the hot dog stand."
Klein, give me a rating out of 10 for The Running Man.
Out of 10, I'm probably giving it a 6.5.
I will go solid 7.5 out of 10. I very much liked this movie, did not love it, had some qualms with the ending, but overall was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and I had fun. I was happy that I went, happy to have seen the movie. Now, we have danced all around this draft that I've wanted to do the whole show so far, because I would like us to draft movie stars of today. Now, not the like the movie stars of history. So, for example, if we were doing all time, Daniel Day-Lewis and Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, these people who were very, very big at times and who still pop into movies in our draws, I'm not going to argue if somebody puts one of those in if they give a good argument because it's very loose. There's no prize. But at the end of the day, I would like us to choose like today. Like if what is going to get people into the theater today.
We are buying the rest of their career.
You're buying the rest of their career. Exactly. Sure. That's a perfect way of putting it.
Sure. Now, it's like if we were starting a studio right now and we had any movie star to draft and we have them for the rest of the time.
Yes.
That's what we're taking.
So for there are going to be 4 rounds. for two of these picks, leading men and women, leading people, the people who are just straight up movie star, no other ifs, ands, or buts. One of the picks I would like for to be they aren't yet, but they're going to be. Now, this could be because they're young and they're going to grow into a role. This could be because they just haven't been in much yet. And you've seen them in a couple things, you think they're great, and once they get more exposure, they're going to be incredible. I almost kind of view like Coleman Domingo as that from a few years ago, of like, he was an actor, he was known, people knew who Coleman Domingo was, but he's been in so much shit the last 3 years, not shit, so much stuff the last 3 years that he's been incredible in, and so now he is a name in a way that he wasn't a few years ago. And so it could be because they're young, or it just be because they haven't gotten that kind of
an untapped resource.
Exactly. Finally, just a personal favorite of someone who is not necessarily the number one movie star out there, but they fit the category and you love them. They're your biggest draw. If this person was in a movie, it makes you want to go with it. And you don't care what the box office is. You don't care what anybody else is going to go to, but it is a draw for you. So what we are going to do is Rachel and Klein, you're going to play virtual rock, paper, scissors. And the winner gets to choose where they pick.
Okay.
How do we do that?
So we'll do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you calling it?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Oh.
Klein wins. Klein, what pick would you like to draft in?
I have a feeling I know where Rachel's going to go in the first round.
It'll be a snake draft.
So I would like to go second.
Rachel, would you like to go first or third?
First.
Rachel, you will go first. Klein, you will go second. I will go third. We'll go in snake. Two leading stars, the people that are the biggest draws in the world right now. One up-and-comer, someone who is not there yet, but you think will be, and one personal favorite, your biggest draw.
So, biggest draw. Oh, wait. Fuck. Okay. I have two. Okay, for the biggest draw, I will put someone who's already doing it, and that's Pedro. So, Pedro Pascal is the biggest, that one. And the up-and-comer, because we've talked about how he's not there
You only get one pick at a time.
No, what?
It's a draft.
You choose one. You get one person
Erase.
Okay.
Put Glen Powell on there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There. Thank you. So Rachel's leading man category taken, and it's good. Glen Powell is there.
Now you can go two leading men. You can go two leading women. You can do one of each. It's your
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm gonna go with a leading woman. I'm gonna go with my favorite actor working in Hollywood right now. I have seasons tickets. I will go and see anything that she does. That is Florence Pugh. The goat.
Now, are you using that as like your favorite? Or are you using that as
I'm using that as my one of my leading categories.
Leading category.
Also, can people please go and watch We Live in Time again? Like, I swear I'm the only person on the internet that thinks it's like a 5-star movie. It's one of my favorite movies of last year, and just nothing. Just no one talks about it.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wait on my leading person and go with my personal favorite, just because this is the one that I don't want to be poached, because this is my favorite actor on the planet, and I'm going to go with Andrew Garfield. Now, I don't think this is a big draw for the world necessarily. Like, this isn't a movie star of stars. You know what I mean? I think he's just on the edge of that category. He was Spidey, but Tick, Tick, Boom is one of my favorite.
He's going to be the first Jedi. So you know what? He's going to be the first Jedi. I'm putting it out there now.
I do have another pick here, so I will go with my personal leading man that I think would be my first choice right now, and that is Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, especially coming off Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I didn't know if he had one of those in him, and then he did, and it was like, yeah, okay, yeah, you've done it.
He's one of my favorite actors right now. I like everything he's like. There's so many things he's in that are among my favorite projects. We have Sinners is my favorite movie of 2025. Speaking of Friday Night Lights, that was one of my first introductions to him, and I just thought he was so much fun in that series. Black Panther, the Creed series.
Have you watched The Wire, TJ?
I have not watched The Wire. I was
He's
talking
in
about
that as a very little kid and is immediately like, oh, you're going to be a superstar. Like you are one of the best people acting in this show and you're like 9.
so I have been on a quest recently watching as many critically acclaimed and classic movies as I possibly can for the last like 6 months, and that's where the Top Gun Maverick thing came from, because I had an embarrassing amount of blind spots of movies for somebody who talks about movies all the time. I still have those for TV. So much of my life has been spent watching comic book, sci-fi, fantasy related television that there are a lot of the greatest shows of all time, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, that I just haven't seen. I'll get there eventually. Klein, pick 2. Who do you got?
Well, I'm happy this guy's back to me. I got a little woman on my list. I'm gonna pick another little woman star. I'm going Marty Supreme himself, Timothée Chalamet.
There you go. That is, I feel like if we didn't have our own biases, that would probably be the number 1 pick. You know, like if we didn't all have our own favorites, like that is probably the world's number 1 bankable name right now.
He's in this. You talked about earlier that we're in this weird time of like, do movie stars sell movies anymore? I mean, we just had like a Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie flop at the box office. Sydney Sweeney's Kirstie just isn't doing super well, and we'll see how Running Man does. But Timothée Chalamet is one of the people that can. Like he was in a Bob Dylan movie. Like Bob Dylan's a name in itself, but he got people out there because he was Timothée Chalamet. There were people who didn't care about Bob Dylan at all who went to see it because Timmy was in it. I have a feeling the same thing might be true with Marty Supreme later this year. And he's also in Dune. I just don't know if like, is Dune his franchise play? Like, does he show up in another franchise when that is all said and done, or is he going to stick to the like, I'm the next Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm going to just like chase Oscars for the rest of my life?
I like it. Good pick. Rachel, you got 2 picks back to back. I got to imagine one of them is your guy Pedro.
It is Pedro Pascal is one of mine. And what is the other category I'm missing?
So assuming that you could use both Glen Powell and Pedro as like these are the leading men. These are the 2 biggest stars in the world. So you could just pick up and coming and an additional favorite.
Oh, so I have an up. Okay, so I need to pick.
Or you could put Powell or Pascal as one of your favorites, but they're probably both top 5 for movie stars in the world right now, at least for men. So they kind of deserve to be in that.
I don't know. I still think Pedro could be up and coming. You know, he's got a lot of room.
So much room. Up and coming is Lewis Pullman.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's my boy. That's my boy. Lewis Pullman is the up and coming because he was on the rise, and then after Bob, everyone is like, oh my God. So Louis.
Lessons in Chemistry's very own.
Oh, I love Lessons in Chemistry. These are my boys. As always, I just picked the boys. Also because Florence Pugh got taken.
Your harem.
What
my hair's been on a journey this entire life.
Which Lewis Pullman character do you like better? Is it Bob or Bob?
Bob. Actually, fun fact, I'm the one who coined Bob Squared because I was like the first interview after it was announced that he was going to be Sentry. And I said, so you're Bob Squared. And he was like, no, you've coined that. And he told me that to my face multiple times that I coined the phrase Bob Squared. Personally, I like Bob number 1 more, but that's just because that's my Top Gun Maverick babes. But
the Bobs.
I think Lewis is somebody who, like, as someone who, for whether, I don't know, they mean anything or not, follows the Academy Awards religiously, I think Lewis Pullman is someone who could, at some point in the next 5 years, like, I think he has a performance in him that would, like, very Lessons in Chemistry co-star, like, very Brie Larson. Like, I think that he could have something that really, like, people watch and go, whoa, where did this come from with him?
I could see him end up being the main character in Spaceballs 2.
He is.
Oh, he is? Is that already? Yeah. That's probably why that was in my brain. That was probably
why that was in my brain. Went.
Well, I don't know if he's the main character, but he's in it.
No, he is. He's what's his name's son.
Yeah.
I just was. I'm kind of picturing him maybe end up being like. Is he going to be Kylo Ren in that movie?
Yes. Do you know anything about Spaceballs?
I do. That's why I'm speculating. I don't know anything about Spaceballs 2 reports. Which is why I was in speculation, though. But like
using the logic of the first Spaceball movie,
That's
Yes.
that's what brought me to why I
Yes.
think he would be the lead as Kylo Ren in this
That's
movie.
why I'm just saying yes to you.
Since
Yes.
his dad was Han Solo. Anyways, Klein, your pick. Who do you got?
Okay. I have a couple ways I could go. I could go with one of my girlies that I absolutely love, but I think I'm going to go a different direction because I want to talk about my most anticipated movie of 2026, and this is about the only place that I can do it. I'm going to go Dominic Sessa as my up and coming. A untrained actor who was touring around this, helping the production of The Holdovers tour around a school in the Northeast, and they were auditioned everyone for a role in it, and they were finally like, no, this kid's just the kid, and blew me away in that movie. He's in Now You See Me 3, which I haven't seen yet, and I would like to see just because I really like him. But next year, he is going to be bringing to life Anthony Bourdain in an A24 movie directed by the Blackberry director. I love Blackberry. Anthony Bourdain is like one of my personal heroes. I think he's just one of the most badass human beings to ever live. And I cannot wait to see what Dominic Sessa's Anthony Bourdain looks, feels, and sounds like. So I'm going to do that just because we are 2 movies deep on him so far. Like we are just scratching the surface with what we could get with him.
I like it. That's a good pick. He was pretty incredible in The Holdovers. I have not seen Now You See Me, Now You Don't yet, but I do love that franchise, so I'm going to be tuning in. I will be picking my leading lady next, and I do think she is probably right there for biggest movie star in the world. I am going Zendaya. We love our MJ. She crushes in Dune. Challengers to me is what really set it apart, of just like, I am new, young, and famous, to like, oh damn, she's fucking awesome. And so yeah, I'm going Zendaya with my next pick here as my
TJ,
other leading. Yeah,
probably another silly question. You haven't seen Euphoria?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen any Euphoria.
Yeah. If you're a Zendaya fan, you want to see more of her doing badass shit, go do that.
I don't know. I'm probably never gonna watch Euphoria. I just don't think I can do it. I don't think I could do it. We'll see. Maybe one day, but it just doesn't. I don't think it's
as a like straight edge. Like, I don't know if I give off that vibe, but like, I didn't do drugs in high school, but watching it, I'm like, man, this is what the cool kids were doing. What the hell?
As a straight edge, I don't know if I give off that vibe.
It feels like one of those shows that I missed it when it was hot, and it's too late.
Oh,
it's
never.
There's one more
season. Never too late for you.
But like, I don't know.
You're a father now. You can't watch that.
Yeah, exactly. I can't be watching that kind of thing.
Wow, it took till this moment for us to bring up the fact that TJ is a dad. We did a whole goddamn podcast about a guy.
Did the experience of the Running Man change? Like, do you think that you would have felt differently knowing that you're now a father of a daughter? Like, is that?
I do. As the father of a daughter, experience for sure. Just like the moments where he's like, I don't give a fuck about anything other than
I'm a girl dad too. I could be Glen Powell.
There are a lot of similarities that Glen Powell and I have. Very large arm muscles,
delts,
chiseling abs,
yep,
and being girl dads, and that's
a booty that don't quit. It's just...
you can bounce a quarter off of
it. Zendaya is my pick for my final pick, my last round pick. I'll go with my up and comer here. I do kind of want to run it by both of you. I know we had pretty loose rules, but I do wonder if this is potentially outside of the up and comer. No, because I feel like it fits with like a Lewis Pullman. I'm going Mason Thames.
Hell yeah. 3 number 1 movies in a year.
And that's why I was wondering, like, is he kind of there already? Does he fit in up and coming?
I think
he's incredible.
The bar you would need is like, if you were to poll 100 people and like show them a picture of Mason Thames, would they know who it is? And I think you're probably getting less than like 30 people there. Like, he is on the verge of something really special if he can keep this up.
I agree.
It's shocking to me that he's 17.
It's gonna be a great Nightwing.
Right? That's Nightwing. That is Nightwing, and that's one of the reasons why I want to pick him here. I think in an alternate universe, that is a perfect Peter Parker. He could have done an absolutely perfect Peter Parker. And that, to me, is how do you cast a Nightwing? Well, you find a Peter Parker that's a little darker. And that's pretty close to what you got there. And so he was great in How to Train Your Dragon. He obviously from things like The Black Phone, kind of got him famous. He's in Regretting You this year. The one that to me was like, holy shit, this kid's got chops, was Incoming. That is a movie that I thought was genuinely hilarious that I don't think anybody watched. Coming of age movie, not as like vulgar, but like super bad-esque in its style of story that it's telling. He's so good and so funny in that movie. That made me realize like that was the movie that made me go, oh, that is Peter Parker. That kid could be Peter. And what makes me think he could be a Nightwing as well. I think that kid is going to do some big, big things. And so Mason Thames is my final pick for up and coming. Klein, who is your last choice?
So personal favorite, I'm just going to throw a name out there, and I don't know if he's going to ever have a big movie star career, but for me, he's the one that got away if he doesn't. And that's Dev Patel. I stand
another first
Dev
Jedi
Patel.
candidate.
Another first Jedi candidate. I think my pick is you make him James Bond. Like, I would love a Dev Patel James Bond. I would even love a Dev Patel Batman if we want to get weird. Like, he is such an incredible actor. A couple of years ago, it might have been last year, he wrote and directed and starred in Monkey Man, which has its issues, but coming off of that, I was like, this guy can do anything. Like, he is a triple threat. He can write, he can direct. He is an amazing actor. I mean, he was in years and years and years and years ago, he was in Slumdog Millionaire. But like The Green Knight, I love him in. He just has never been in anything super big. Like, he just hasn't ever planted his flag in a franchise or joined some big blockbuster thing. I'm sure the offers have been there because he is very talented, but I want to see him do something like that just because I want more people to see the gem, the diamond that is Dev Patel.
Monkey Man was the very first movie that Agents of Fandom made it into the official trailer. Where it was Ethan Simi who saw that one at an early festival, and so that one is at we made into the trailer for that one. So that was really cool when that happened.
Do you think Dev had anything to do with it?
Yeah,
Dev personally picked it.
Dev, these like Agents of Fandom, I like them. They're good shit. We're gonna put them right center stage. It was like literally like one of the best spots in the trailer too. Rachel, final pick.
What is that?
You have
personal favorite now. It's wild card. Anything you want.
Stars. You need
Kermit the Frog still on the board.
You need a favorite, and you also probably, just so that people don't think you hate women, you should probably pick a woman on your team.
So I need two.
You want just last pick, and it's just a favorite. But since you have two of your favorites, you can pretty much go wherever you want.
That's so true, bestie. Let me think about this. I am drinking from a Kermit the Frog mug. So Miss Piggy. No, who do I want?
We need to put the Muppets in more just like movies, you know?
Yeah. You know what? To keep on theme with the Running Man, I'm going to pick somebody, and we can label her whatever, but it makes me so happy when I see her. I'm picking Jamie Lawson because she was in banger after banger after banger, because she was in The Batman, then she was in Sinners, and then she was in The Running Man. Whoever her agent is, congrats. Like, you're killing it picking these roles. So that's who I'll pick.
Jamie Lawson was my backup for Up and Coming. That was like her, and I was also considering going like a Miles Caton and just going like full Sinners with it and trying to get Jamie Lawson and Miles Caton both on the team. But Jamie Lawson was one of my picks for upcoming. Sorry, my dog just bursted in and started making a bunch of noise here. Not upcoming in the sense that they're overly young, but another actor I really considered for that role, because I think they're just going to keep getting more famous and more famous since they were, they're in Wicked for Good, just got named Sexiest Man Alive, and that's Jonathan Bailey. Maybe not quite like, I don't know that he's movie star. He's very niche movie star. The people who know who he is, who have seen him, fucking love him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that the general public is as familiar with Jonathan Bailey from a movie stardom standpoint. That's my pick for a Bond or even a Batman. Like, I think he'd be freaking awesome.
The two up and coming names that I was like batting around was I don't know. I need to see more, but like Chase Infinity After One Battle After Another was like another one of those people like, who are you? And then are they up and coming? They already have an Oscar, but I was like, Mikey Madsen for a lot of people has really been in only one movie, and like she turned down Star Wars. Like she is being asked to be in these big things now, and so I think she's gonna have a really big, exciting career. It's just interesting to see like what she does next, which I guess
You know
is
who we
Social
should
Network
ask?
too.
Who the next big movie star is going to be? We should just ask Quentin Tarantino, because I rewatched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood recently, and like the fucking Manson kids,
Like 9 of them in there.
Austin Butler, Sydney Sweeney, Margaret Qualley, Mikey Madison, Maya Hawke. It's stupid. It's actually nuts. Dakota Fanning's in there as like one of the people. It's just absolutely nuts. But all right, we got our list. Rachel has Glen Powell, Pedro Pascal, Louis Pullman, and Jamie Lawson. Klein, Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet, Dominic Sessa, and Dev Patel. TJ with Andrew Garfield, Michael B. Jordan, Zendaya, and Mason Thames. Let us know what you think of our picks. Let us know who you think are the best movie stars in the world right now, the best up-and-coming movie stars in the world. Let us know what you thought of The Running Man. At Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. Follow us on socials and wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice 5-star rating and review. Find us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Hit the like button. I think we're doing some pretty cool stuff. And so hit the like button. Help us grow this community. Help us find some more people. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Klein, where can the people find you on socials? For those who don't know, tell them about your other podcasts and the work you do at The Direct.
You can find me everywhere. I'm at The Kleinfelt, TheKleinFelt, as well as podcast services around the globe, Reckless Rebellion, Controller Club, Star Wars, and video game podcasts. You can find me as well at thedirect.com. I guess that is my 9 to 5. So senior editor over there, writing about all the universes you love.
And Rachel, where can I forgot I was going to do this before the show, but we can do it on camera because I saw your tweet and I just want you to know. I'm going to look at you. I want you to know you're doing a really good job as the brand new editor-in-chief of the Mary Sue. You've been crushing it for a long time, but I don't bring it up to you often because we're friends now, right? We're in the friends tier, and so I'm more likely to give you shit than I actually am compliment you. But prior to us knowing each other, genuinely, I thought like you were one of the coolest people and one of the people in this industry I aspired to be. The work that you did, I thought was just, and still continue to do, is incredible. And not just from the content you put out, but from behind the scenes of getting shit done. The first time we went to New York Comic-Con together, I was so envious about how you could just go up to talk to people, and people that you have never met that are objectively important because they got connections, and you just go up to them like, you're supposed to be here and you know what you're doing and you're going to get what you want out of that situation. And it was so impressive, and it made me want to be more like that as well, more forthcoming, more willing to put my fears and my anxieties down and do what needs to be done. And so I just want to say congrats on your new role, and you're truly fucking crushing it. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I was about to hide behind my hair. Halfway through that, I was like, no.
Where can the people find you? Where can they find your work and your pods?
They can find me at the Mary Sue and Collider. You can follow me on social media. I'm at Rachel Leishman on Twitter. I will never call it its new name. You can follow me on everything else at Rachel_Leishman. I have multiple podcasts. They're all sort of on hold. I have Pedro Pascal, which is about Pedro Pascal. I have the Fordcast, which is about Harrison Ford, and I have the Powell Pod, which is about Glen Powell. I also have Cinema Sibs on this network with my brother that we have not done in a while because I'm too busy. And that's all for my podcasts.
Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. Shout out to Rachel and Klein for joining as well. This was a ton of fun, both the draft and the review. Hoping again to chat with both of you soon. Rachel, I know you said potentially we're going to work something out for Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out story. Klein, I know we had talked about a couple things as well. Can't remember what they are off the top of my head though, so I'll have to go back and check our chats. But alas, Thank you both for joining me today. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We'll see you next week for some Stranger Things, as well as the Comic Corner and a whole lot more. We will see you next time, everybody. On behalf of myself, Rachel, and Klein, peace.